Hello, Tara Anytime have asked me to do a quick 5 minute to 10 minute video on something very important that concerns Pesach. It's called their burst of inspiration. And so I'm very, very happy indeed with gratitude to them for all their help in publicizing my sharing over the year to do exactly that. So I wanted to think about something which is obviously inspirational, something critical, something crucial for Passover. And that's why I want to talk to you about potatoes. Obviously, those who are already well versed in Kabbalistic and mystical Jewish ideas will already know the critical and crucial importance that the potato plays in Passover. And of course, it is so important that it features prominently at Seder night. Here is a Haggadah, and there it is, the humble potato. Oops, there it is there. Can't see it. Ooh, there. Karpas. And karpas, of course, is when we take a potato, or it could be anything that grows in the ground, and dip it into salt water. And that is why Passover is so incredibly important. And in case you've not learned this in advanced classes, allow me to share the deep insight and esoteric wisdom of the Passover potato. So you have to understand that there is a general and important rule, which is the themes of the parshas that come at the particular times of the Jewish year always interface, intersect, connect with that time of the year. And the parshas that we read leading up to Pesach are the parshas in Vayikra, which deal with the concept of something which is holy, which is generally referred to as being tohar, and something which is not holy, which is usually called tumah. So that's the general idea. Now, just a few weeks ago, we read the parsha of Shemini, and then after that, there is the parsha of Tazria. And the Al-Shach HaKodesh and later commentators like the Ber Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Salanter, says, what is the connection between these two parshas? You see, Shemini, and you probably recall this, talks about the various animals which we are allowed to eat and the ones we're not allowed to eat. So a pig's always not kosher. A cow is always kosher. Now, it might have become a treifa, which means it's been damaged in some way or it's suffering from some illness which will render it dead through natural causes within 12 months, but it's still a kosher animal. It's just treif. But you see, a pig's never a kosher animal. And then it goes through all the animals that are kosher and non-kosher. Sheep's kosher, hare or rabbit is not kosher, etc. Then we come to the Parsha of Tazria and talks about a woman giving birth to a child. And then there's a period which is not holy and a period which is back to being holy as a consequence of the birth. Those who are looking at my Torah Anytime Shirim on the Parsha will find out why and what that's all about. However, what's one got to do with the other? It's supposed to connect with the time of the year. The answer is very interesting. Something called Rab Samloi, says Rashi, tells us that, well, it's because it's to echo the fact that the whole of creation started with animals first. See Genesis, chapter 1 for more details. Animals first, and then human beings. So this is animals which are kosher, and then human beings. But the Al-Shach and the Ber Yosef say something different. They say, no, it's to tell you, you see, it's the consistency and the constancy of the state of an animal being either holy or not holy, as compared to human beings, because they always remain constant in their state. We don't. Human beings go up and human beings go down. Sometimes we're doing great and sometimes we're not doing so well at all. I should say, sometimes I'm doing great as a Jew, spiritually, and sometimes distinctly unholy. We seesaw. We go up and we go down. And when we go down, we sometimes get a bit depressed. Sometimes we despair we'll ever go up again. And if we notice the pattern of our life just going up and down, up and down, up and down, well, there's plenty of room, perhaps, for us to say, oh, and indeed to despair. But there's a Gemara. The Talmud teaches us famously in Pesachim, the tractate which deals with Passover, page 50a, and it says the following story. There was a rabbi called Rabbi Shua ben Levi and a son called Yosef, and his son had a terrible health crisis. The Talmud doesn't say what it is, but he actually died. His heart stopped beating for a certain amount of time, He was revived. And when he came back, his father said, "What did you see, my son? When you die, your soul leaves your body and goes to, well, guess where? What did you see up there?" And he famously replied, "Olam Hofachreisi. I saw an upside down world. The people here who were considered to be the big guys, the important Jews, upstairs, they just were considered to be the least important. And the people from down here are generally dismissed as being, mundane at best, irrelevant. Upstairs, they were the big guys." And his father famously said to him, "You saw clearly, my son. That's exactly what it's like upstairs." So that allows me to return to our potato. You see, most of us feel potatoes. That means to say that obviously we have downs. We're pulled down by gravity. We are of this world, subsumed by this world, all the garbage, all the dirt of this world. But that's where the potato grows. It grows in the ground. It spends its whole year in the dirt. And yet when it comes to the night of Passover, then it's taken from the dirt, from the lowest place, and it's given a place of honor on the table. It's elevated to the highest place on the table, and a blessing is made over it. The point is, the theme of the year is totally connected to the themes of the Parshas. And of course, the Haggadah is specific. That is to say that Jews who reached the lowest possible level, like we did in Egypt, there was something special about this time that could elevate us. And it's something we can recapture every single year when we come to this time. There's really no room for despair at all. Even if you spent the whole life, your whole year, in dread, as they say in Yiddish, stuck in the ground, stuck with your feet in the mud, pulling you down, there's a possibility you pass over to read this story, look at the Haggadah, try and re-experience it, make yourself as though you're there, and suddenly find yourself way, way above the ground. It's the little guys in heaven who are seen as being the big guys. So there's no room for despair. And just because you failed doesn't make you a failure. Just because you failed doesn't make you a failure. You're only a failure if you give up. The message of the potato is you can be at the very lowest level and don't give up, because with just the right amount of prodding encouragement, you can reach the highest possible heights. That's a very important message to take from Passover, and I wish that your Passover is a successful one, an enjoyable one. And please remember to enjoy your potatoes.